Yo, what is up, guys? This is episode 2 of the Arena Vodcast. Thank you, everyone who's hopping in so far. I got to fix my chatting screen. This is the second time I haven't been able to get to work, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and hop into this thing here in just a second. I hope you guys have had a wonderful week. Today I have a super awesome guest, someone I get to call a brother, an amazing friend. And yeah, I'm excited. He's been through a lot of adversity in life and a lot of challenges, and it's been cool being on the outside, seeing him just overcome these things and being an inspiration as well. So with that being said, guys, I want to welcome Hayden Fletcher here. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Let's do this thing, man.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah. Tell us. So we're just gonna dive in this thing, man. How I've been trying to wrap my head around this week. When and how did we meet? I know it was through music. I can't remember the show. I've been trying to wrap my head around it.
So I think our first face-to-face meeting might have been because we met through a mutual friend, Noah Black. Shout out Noah Black if he's watching. But it might have been at the farewell tour for Today, the Charlotte show. Because I know y'all opened for him when you were in the Worshiper.
Was that the first time at that show? That was at Arizona Pizza, I think, in Greensboro. Was that where we first met?
I didn't go to that show, but the one.
So the underground.
Yeah, the underground.
Yeah, okay.
With, Silent Planet and Norman Jean.
Gotcha. Holy cow, dude. That was forever ago. What year was that? 2015, maybe?
Probably either 2015 or 2016. Or it might have been a little bit later because I think I was just accepted to go to school at Southeastern, so it might have been late 2016 or early 2017.
Gotcha. That's insane, dude. So what do you recall? I hate that I don't, because I mean we've had so much time together through music, and so I feel like that was just another instance of us kind of hanging out and meeting. Do you remember exactly like how that went down?
A little bit. I mean, of course,
no pressure. If not, no pressure.
No, it's all good. Because I remember a lot of that show, and I just thought about that show not too long ago. For Today came on my shuffle, and I was like, "Dang, that was a good show." But I remember kind of being a little intimidated by you, just this big, muscular dude that just wrapped me in a bear hug first time meeting.
Before the dad bod. That's funny. I mean, that sounds accurate, though. I probably did give you a giant hug. I mean, you're definitely one of the most huggable dudes.
I appreciate that. I get that a lot, actually.
Nah, dude. I see you. Big teddy bear, bro. But, so yeah, we met through Noah, and that makes sense. I'm trying to remember how. I'm sure I'll connect the dots eventually. But I'm trying to remember how I met Noah. Had to be through music, I'm sure. Whether it was at a show or just on Facebook or something like that.
I don't know how he meets all these people. He just comes up, and then eventually I get around, and
then here you are. That's funny, man.
Exactly.
And yeah, we've definitely, like I said, we've definitely hung out quite a bit just through the years, and we definitely spent some fun times together. I definitely want to hear a little bit about your life. Like, what do you do for work? Like, you know, what's your hobbies? Kind of tell everyone who's going to be listening, who's listening now, a little bit about Hayden. Just you in general.
Well, I mean, my old job was the photographer and official fan club president of the Worshiper.
Yeah, that's right.
But nowadays,
that's so funny, dude.
But nowadays, I work at Verizon and serve at church whenever I can. Yeah, I love playing disc golf. I love music, metal music especially. And just hanging out with friends, man, whenever I can. It's been a busy life at work recently. Don't really get time anymore. But try to get that in when I can.
For sure. Dude, I totally forgot. I don't know how I forgot, but I totally forgot about the disc golf thing. And something else that you said, like, in one thing that I've always admired and that I've always known from meeting you is you're an acts of service person. you do so much for everybody, like with Noah's band, with my band, literally anyone that you got close to or like that you met, you were always trying to do something for them. So for who's listening, just know Hayden's legit. He is someone who he always wants to put a smile on someone's face, and he's always doing anything he can to to support people. And again, yeah, let's go. And again, like you did that for the band, dude. Like pretty much almost all the live videos we have of us, that you were up front doing the videos, and you just did it, man. And then you're like, yo, check out these pictures, check out these videos, dude. So you've always been someone who like I said, you've never expected anything in return. You've just always done that out of the goodness of your heart. And that's one of the things that I love about you. And I'm sure that everyone watching and will watch loves as well. Got the big gulp. I was like, yo, trying to cut back on soda and trying to cut some weight. But I was like, all right, today's a day where I'm going to get caffeined up to rock this thing. Well, that's awesome, man. Yeah, get your caffeine. So yeah, to kind of dive into this thing slowly, but also 1,000 miles per hour. So Hayden's been through a lot of adversity in his life. I'm sure there's things that I don't know, but you've had a lot of issues with battling mental health, right? Can you just maybe share? Just some of your experiences, or maybe when you noticed like you struggled with it. We can kind of start there of when you first were able to identify. Maybe it doesn't have to be exact, but what point in your life did you realize like you had this battle that you had to face daily?
I want to say probably when I left school in 2019. I noticed it then, because before that I was just suppressing it. Didn't really think about it, and because like both of my parents really started noticing in me and then in themselves, and it kind of clicked in me like, yeah, maybe I'm struggling with this. And went to the doctor, and they were like, well, you probably had it your entire life. You just suppress it. So,
yeah.
But I would probably say that like 2019, like I said, left school, got put on academic probation, which was bad.
Yeah,
I was a little
sure.
down.
Cutting out a little bit. So I'm going to pull you back in there. Give a second, guys. Fixing some audio here. How is everyone who is listening? How is audio on everyone else's end? Can you guys hear Aiden okay? Except for the second. Can you hear him and myself? Just want to get some feedback from you guys. Just make sure audio is sounding pretty solid. And we're going to work through these technical difficulties. Headphones go dead?
No.
Oh, there you are.
I haven't. Yeah. It was kind of like disconnecting for some reason, but I think I got that fixed.
Sweet. No worries. Dude, if it happens, it happens, man. Like I said, we're just going to kind of keep rolling with whatever happens, bro. No worries. This is a stress-free stream. So, yeah, what is there? So, I guess I got two questions to rally off of that. When your parent, like, was it a pretty encouraging thing, like, from your parents when they noticed? Was it like a healthy, like, hey, we kind of notice these changes, or was it like kind of a what is wrong with you, like you got to get it together thing? Just as a parent, no, I'm just curious.
No, it was definitely healthy. Definitely noticed the change in my mood and
for sure
stuff like that, and kept. I mean, they were pressuring me to go see like what's going on.
Yeah.
And finally, I did it. But yeah, it was really encouraging and stuff like that. So, because my dad went first because he noticed it in himself.
Gotcha.
And then my mom went, and then I went.
Gotcha.
So,
So I don't really know too much, I guess, as far as like genetics. I mean, I'm sure some things can be genetic. So maybe that's that could be a possibility. But is there anything that maybe just going to therapy or whatever, or just like your self healing or like self evaluation? Is there anything like that maybe triggered it in your childhood or growing up? Anything, that certain event or that you can think of, or just kind of there?
No, not to my knowledge. It was just
Yeah.
there. Like I said, I probably was dealing with it my whole life.
Yeah.
Um, but when you're young, you don't really think about that.
Yeah. Not for sure.
So, um, did I lose audio again?
There you go. I
Can you
don't know
hear
why
me
I
well?
keep saying, yeah, you're good, bro.
I might have to go get some wired headphones instead of using these wireless headphones.
Yeah, you're good. If you need to do that, that's fine. I'll keep the.
Yeah,
I'll keep the, yeah,
let me
dude.
do that.
Yeah, no worries. Take your time, bro. All right, guys. So yeah, we're just we're knocking out some audio stuff. No biggie, but again, thank you so much for everyone tuning in. Like I said, this is going to be, we're just starting to break into what I think is going to be a really awesome episode of this thing. Again, the whole, if you're new here, the whole thing behind the Arena Vodcast is essentially, to rise above the challenges of life. Everyone, regardless of where they come from, what they believe in, at the end of the day, we all are just trying to navigate this thing called life. So my goal here is to just, through these amazing people that I've had the opportunity to meet or will meet, is to just influence you guys and hopefully inspire you no matter where you're at in life. So again, thank you guys so much for being here. Like I said, tonight's going to be special. Some heavy discussions I'm sure are going to be had. But at the end of the day, we're just all about being transparent here and just trying to connect with you guys, because we all go through hardships, whether you deal with mental health or not, or you've had to face some sort of adversity in your life, regardless of what that looks like. At the end of the day, we all have challenges. So tell your friends, guys. Let's get them in here. Let's get some people in here. We're gonna continue to sing.
All right, can you hear me good now?
Yo, I can hear you. Go ahead and adjust some audio. You're louder now, which is good.
Yeah, I switched to my Xbox headset, so I was like, that's the only wired thing I could find around me. So
yeah, no, you're good. Audio sounds great. Let's see here, just adjusting. Talk for me one more time.
Testing.
Yeah, that's perfect. Turn you up just a little more. Perfect. Should be good, guys. If you're hanging out in the stream, let me know how audio is, if anything needs to be adjusted. So anyway, kind of diving back to the thing, keep this ball rolling. Like I said, if any other things arise, we'll make it happen, dude. No worries. So you noticed, you said right after school. Do you think that's because maybe school, it's kind of like go, you're involved with different things? Do you think that was because your life somewhat slowed down and it wasn't like you actually had time to maybe realize that like something was different, or your parents could really identify?
Yeah, probably. And then while I was in school, that's when my dad had his first stroke. So
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I mean, like, and that was like midway in the summer of 2018.
Yeah.
So, and then dealing with that, and then that happening that winter, just really like culminated in my mind now that I'm back at home and not being, like you said, go, actually getting sitting time with my thoughts, really started changing my mood and my behavior a little bit.
And I guess too, like, I mean, to me, it sounds like that was maybe a triggering factor, like, everything going on. And then, to see your dad in that state, I'm sure that was really tough. So it was like, as school and everything kind of slowed down and you were kind of at the end of that, then boom, this tragic event happens. And then it's like, so I feel like, to me, outside, listening, sounds like that could have definitely been a trigger, and that's completely understandable, and I think that's the that's the hard part, like we're already trying to learn and navigate life while we're young, and then something really crazy like that occurs. I feel like that can definitely be a breaking point for sure.
Yeah, definitely was.
So what did time hey Persephone, thank you so much for hopping in. Hope you had a great week. Appreciate it. And we're just getting rolling, so you haven't missed too much. So make sure to tell your friends. Let's get everybody in here. But anyway, yeah, so what did time look like? So when you first kind of noticed and your parents noticed, what did that period look like? It sounds like there was some therapy, but can you walk through maybe like the first year or two of really like learning to deal with it, identifying it, kind of learning what it is?
So I didn't really start going to therapy until a lot longer after I started being put on like medicine, antidepressants,
Gotcha.
anti-anxiety. But it was a weird time. I definitely distanced myself from people.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna lie, like I felt like I kind of failed, like I couldn't do it on my own.
Yeah.
And so like really distanced myself from friends and family, except my immediate family, of course, because still living at home, still do. And just really not doing a whole lot, like not going out, just really going to work and going home and just being quiet.
And I feel like, and myself included, I've definitely been in that battle, but I feel like for a lot of people who deal, with the depression and anxiety, I feel they do the opposite of what the solution could be. It's just like, hey, if I just go out with friends and surround myself with good people and people who love me, like it'll help me a lot. And it's just like, it's weird how the way we cope is just shut down. And I know that's like a normal human reaction to things, but still it's wild to think of, whether we dive into getting addicted to this or shutting ourselves down or whatever. It's crazy how, that's our reaction instead of like, hey, that's kind of the obvious thing. It's crazy how we'll drag things out like that.
Definitely. You just want to go home and wrap yourself up in a blanket burrito and not do anything.
And I guess like, yeah, big burrito laying on the bed. I guess like, even though the obvious solution is, put yourself around healthier people that'll lift you up, etc., it is easier, I guess, to just like kind of become a robot and, lay in bed, curled up, watching Netflix and not having to, put energy into embracing other people. So that side makes sense. I mean, I've definitely been guilty of that. I've definitely done the whole like, and from just where I come from in life in general, I have it's chilled out a lot. But it's kind of like that beaten dog in a cage thing, like you finally get that one good thing that comes around and you're just like, whoa, I don't want anything to do with it. It's just that kind of fight or flight reaction, and so that kind of survival mentality, at least for me, that's just what I've realized with like my certain reactions and everything. It's just always like shut down, just close myself off. And then that way no one else can, come in and hurt me, even though that's not going to happen. People just want to help me more than anything.
That's right.
So going, so the first couple years was pretty tough, obviously. Can you explain or maybe talk about maybe one of the like lowest or one of the most like eye-opening times of, breaking down or whatever, to where you were like, what led you to go to therapy, I guess?
Really, it was a situation that I had with a friend, where, and it's partly my fault. I burned that bridge. But I definitely, I don't know what it was, like just made me resent him, the way that I did. And I sought after therapy for that. Because I really didn't want to, but something in my mind was just telling me like to do it.
Yeah.
And luckily, like we've made up and everything's all good. Which is great. He's one of my best friends. So, and I love him to death. So, I'm glad we could do that and move on. But yeah, that's what really was my low point to start therapy. And then, of course, jumping ahead a little bit, losing my father
Yeah.
definitely made me get back into therapy.
Understandable for
And
sure.
I think that was the lowest of the low.
Yeah.
And because like we were like this,
Yeah.
so I think that really, yeah, definitely that was my lowest point.
Yeah. What and we'll kind of dive into to your dad thing here shortly. But do you think your reaction with him or whatever happened, do you think that was like almost like a spontaneous reaction because you knew there was a lot of positive to gain? You know what I mean? Like, it's easy, like if we see something that like is influencing in a good way, it's easy for us to like shoo it off. You know what I mean? Like, would you say, is that the case? Or I'm just curious if that was maybe like a reaction because you knew it could be, I don't know. Like, a lot of people do that. If something's beneficial, they'll like, because they want to stay where they're at,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure because I've tried to put that behind me.
Yeah, for sure.
And look forward to the future with that, because like I said, we came back together and really buried the hatchet. And like I said, just trying to push that away, so my memory is not really that sharp on that, which is a good thing, because
absolutely,
it was a really negative time.
Yeah.
And so just trying to push that away to be happy.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Well, that's awesome that obviously a lot of challenges faced in leading up to seeking help and realizing the positives in that, and huge props for you. I'm glad you guys have been able to mend that relationship, and I'm sure it sounds like outside looking in, like I'm sure he's able to or was able to understand like the circumstances, and if anything probably wanted to do nothing more than kind of be there for you after kind of mending everything, you know what I mean? Which
Definitely.
Again, like it's nice having, keep hitting my desk, it's nice having mature friends, like that can, because we're human. So it's awesome that you both were able to kind of admit and both of you worked through it, and now you guys are best friends, man. That's awesome. So I guess
Definitely.
leading, was there any other things that maybe any challenges with kind of, was it hard to go to therapy? Like, was that a pretty scary thing, or did you feel like almost like not worthless, but like you have to go to this person now, like you can't do it yourself? Like, did you beat yourself up a lot with that?
I did. I was insanely nervous. Making the appointment to go talk to this random person I've never met before.
Yeah.
And then especially going to the office to go introduce myself and spill my guts about what's going on. But yeah, it took a little while, like I said, when I started getting put on the medication.
Yeah.
And my doctor kept saying like, hey, I suggest you go to therapy, but of course that is your decision. There's a great place that has a great staff that can help you, talk it out, be a non-biased ear.
Yeah.
And just kind of get you through steps to help you in this journey.
Yeah. I guess it's crazy to think about, because like you kind of like laying it out there. I guess it is like, okay, fine, I'm gonna do this thing, and it's just like you like from a distance make the appointment, phone call, and it's just like day of. I can only like, I'm sure you remember that day like it was yesterday, just like waking up.
Oh, I do.
Like like the drive, like I can't imagine, because again, like that's a big step. It's one thing to talk about, it's time to like face this stuff, blah blah blah, but then it's like when it's time to act upon it, that's where I feel like separates like people who really want help and who just kind of want to keep this rinse repeat cycle, the attention, everything else. So it's huge props for you, man, because that would definitely be like, you have to humble yourself too, because again, you're going to some random person, you're paying them money to listen to you vent or whatever it is, you know, talk about what you're going through, and it's just like, all right, now I'm going home. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it was a weird experience for sure. The first day.
How comfortable, like, obviously, like, I'm sure after that first session, like maybe after the first two, it, you know, especially, do you see the same people when you go to therapy? Like, do you have the same person, or just...
I've switched therapists several times because not saying anything bad about my first one, but I just didn't feel like I was getting the help that I needed.
Yeah.
And so I switched to another one because the doctor's office that I go to had that on site at that time after I switched therapists.
Yeah.
And I apologize for my dog barking if you can hear
you're
that.
good, dude.
And then left that therapist and then started using the BetterHelp platform because I was like, I don't really want to go to an office.
Yeah.
Like, let me try that.
Can you, not to cut you, what is the BetterHelp platform? I feel like I've heard it, but I don't really know, like, in depth.
So it's therapy, but it's all strictly online. So like you would have a video call like me and you are doing right now.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about BetterHelp, which I haven't gone to therapy, I'll preface that, in a while, just because life has been so hectic.
Yeah.
And it started getting a little expensive because it wasn't covered under my insurance. So, but they can text you throughout the week, just like checking up on you.
Yeah.
And my therapist was great at that. She
awesome,
was
dude.
incredible about that. Or like if I have to skip a session, because something's going on, like she'll send me a message like, hey, if there's anything that you need, reach out to me. And if we need to schedule like an emergency session, we definitely can.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So it's all online. And because I felt like driving to an office, sit in the waiting room, I just felt kind of awkward than just spilling my guts out. I'm kind of like more like, hey, how's the weather today?
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, it'll be awkward for the first 10 minutes.
All right, here we are, we're like whistling in the air, you
know? Definitely.
So that so it's a platform essentially where you can sign up through, and then you can get. That's amazing, dude. And I guess with technology, I mean, that doesn't surprise me. And I think the amazing part with, you know, stuff like this, like whether it's streaming or whatever, is, you know, people do feel more comfortable, at least like to initially break the ice. You know, they definitely, I feel like most people feel more comfortable behind a screen. They kind of, you know, so that's really cool, man. I didn't know about that. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to. If you remember where you were going, I can't remember what the question that we were kind of on, or I guess we were talking about therapy and your experience and kind of. So it was obviously awkward at first.
Yeah,
I can only imagine, dude. So
yeah, probably the first two sessions were really awkward.
Yeah,
because of course the first session is more of like an introduction, like who are you, what are you in therapy for, like what are you looking to get out of therapy, and so kind of like syllabus week in school, it's like introduction.
Yeah,
which you're just in class for
like
just
building up
to the
the
teacher talk
awkwardness
about during the semester, and then the second week is like I gotta, you know, think about what I'm gonna say in there, because like we're really gonna dive into it. There's no introduction, just like what's going on.
Yeah. Have you ever because I feel like once you break into all this stuff, like I'm sure you forget to talk about certain things. Have you ever just like been leaving the park and be like, I forgot to talk about that?
Definitely, yes.
I mean, I guess with the BetterHelp or the platform you were talking about, I guess like you did have access to text, but I guess do you just write that down until next session or whatever stuff that you forgot?
Yeah, I would write it down. I would take a note in my phone and say like, oh dang, I didn't bring this up. This is something that I did struggle with this week. And then I started, you know, writing things down before I went.
Gotcha. So like
little bullet points, it might just be one word as a reminder
Yeah.
to talk about this. So I didn't. And of course, only being an hour session, you know, you got to fit a bunch of stuff in because, you know, I was going through a lot in that point in my life. So trying to narrow that down and talk about the things that are really important that are weighing on me.
Yeah, for sure. What so can you give like anyone who's going to watch or who's watching now, can you give any advice or why therapy really helped you, or why you think it's beneficial for people who just feel like they're stuck kind of in that slug depression, you know, toxic thing that consumes us?
My advice is just to do it. Really plain and simple. Because a lot of like people like myself, like I feel like I failed. Like I can't do this by myself, especially men. Like it's just in our brain to, you know, be strong.
Kind of shut up and keep going type of thing.
Yeah, shut up and keep going and not talk about mental health with somebody. But it's great. Like I said, it's a non-biased ear, somebody that is trained on how the brain works and operates. But yeah, and a lot of them, like especially on BetterHelp, and I meant to say it's really customizable. Like you take a survey before when you sign up, and they match you with a therapist that is specialized in that area.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
So, I mean, like I said, a little expensive, but I think it's really, really good. But, you know, going to your doctor and saying like, hey, I'm struggling with this, can you recommend a therapist? Like they know a bunch of people. Like, so I would just say, break the stigma, don't listen to your brain, just do it.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, I think you know, and again, like that's something that I'm big about here is mental health. You know, I don't think it's talked about, you know, regardless of, you know, male or female. Like we all struggle, and you know, while I feel like, you know, men do struggle maybe a little more just because it's kind of, you know, where that stigma, like you said, it's be quiet, keep doing your thing, you know, like no one cares type of thing, you know. But everyone struggles, and it's okay if you need to seek help, you know. Again, like find people and make sure, because again, not everyone's in different situations in life. Everyone can handle certain things, you know. Some people can kind of go, you know, maybe to the root of where certain things started, and they can kind of do their own self-healing journey, and that's what I did, you know. And it was hard. There were definitely some very tough mental days, and if you're not in a position or you have the willpower and the mindset to do that, like don't feel once that you're a failure. You know, there's nothing wrong with getting good guidance and people who can steer you in a good direction to help get you where you need to be, at least to like kind of pull you out of that hole, you know. There's still a hill to climb, but at least like you're out of that, and it's like, okay, at least you can walk now. So definitely yeah, appreciate that, man. Thank you for sharing that. And again, anyone who's listening, just know it's okay to not be okay, and just know that there's a lot of people, myself included, Hayden, therapists, or there's people all over the world who do care about you guys. And like I said, it's hard to speak out. It's hard to kind of break that ice. But once you do, I promise you'll see insane results in your life, because there's a lot of people who really do want to listen, you know, and that's what's helped me a lot. Before we kind of dive into, you know, some more stuff, that's been one thing that's benefited me, is just learning to talk about it and learning, you know, to be okay with it, you know, and trusting the people around me. You know, people aren't going to go, you know, run their mouth on social media because I, you know, express like, hey, yesterday was a really tough day, blah, blah, blah. Like people literally want to help you. And if they don't, then those are the people that you need around anyway. So
you don't need those people in your life.
For reals, man. So I know, so yeah, to kind of dive in a little heavier topic, you said, you know, the thing with your friend, and then the lowest point that you've ever been was losing your dad. When was that?
So it would be 4 years on August 4th.
That's crazy, dude. I remember the night you called me, when that happened, and it's insane that it's been 4 years already.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't seem like it's been that long. I mean, some days it does. Some days it feels like it just happened yesterday.
Yeah.
So,
Can you kind of walk through, if you're comfortable, maybe the decline? You said he had a stroke, so it was pretty health related, right? It was just kind of a
yeah. But like the good thing that I say, that he went in his sleep, so like he wasn't in any pain, and so like that did comfort me.
Yeah.
But it just being so sudden, and I was already struggling with things, and kind of at that point in my life where you kind of need that father figure in your life. And for that to happen, not saying like blaming anybody, I've dealt with that, and but it was just a lot at one time.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it happened so suddenly. Wasn't really prepared for it. I mean, I know nobody is, even if you have a time frame, you're still not prepared for that day.
Yeah.
With a family member, a friend, or anything like that. So I would say, I think it really set in after the funeral. Like, I think I was just kind of cruising on autopilot until that day.
Yeah, that kind of out of it shock factor.
Yeah, like kind of like felt like an out of body experience. Like my soul was just like hanging over my body, type of thing.
Yeah.
Just walking around trying to do life and plan this thing, what we're gonna do, and talking to, like my pastor, Pastor Nick, and the church we're gonna have it at, the funeral home, and stuff like that. Like I said, I just felt like I was present, but I also wasn't. Like I said, I was just coasting.
Would you say like one of the hardest parts about losing somebody is the fact that like you have to still continue a sense of normalcy in your life? Like you still have to like maintain like composure, so to speak. Like, you still have your job, you still have other people. Like, what were some challenges that, obviously it was hard, but what was that kind of like for you? Was it, I just want to hear.
Just like you said, just like going normal life. Like you have this person here one day and then they're gone the next.
Yeah.
So just having to kind of grow up and, try to take care of everything that you can, still struggling with that, but I'm learning. And then just like having one less person in the house, like it sucks. But I know, and I can say this because she's sitting right across from me. So, like it definitely, the bright side is it did bring my mom and me closer together. We're always tight, but me and my dad definitely tighter. Even though we butted heads like cats and dogs because we're basically the same person. So it was just like two bulls going at it. But, it was like he's my best friend. So having to deal with grief and still trying to go throughout your normal day, whether it be at work or going out with friends or at church or just home life.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. Like there's no cutoff switch to it. It's just
there's
any time, any day, like the smallest thing can trigger this, like they used to love to eat this or whatever, it's always with you. And I feel like that's the hardest part. So navigating through that, like, so this triggered, this was like the lowest of low. You said you started going back to therapy after you lost your dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at what point did you kind of realize, like, obviously time in this case doesn't heal, but time softens. But when was it kind of like, okay, like I have to kind of pull myself together and I have to kind of like try to get back to a sense of normalcy? Like what did maybe navigating through that look like, and maybe where you're at today currently still with that?
I mean, it's no getting back to normal. Like, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Like, people that experience loss, I always say, like, it doesn't get any easier per se,
Yeah.
but you learn to deal with it.
Yeah.
And so, like, and I still go through it. Like you said, this one little thing can trigger it.
Yeah.
Whether it's like a song me and him liked, or going out to eat at a place that me and him love to do, or anything like that would bring up all the memories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or even like for me, like hearing a certain sound will trigger it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
But yeah, dealing with it, like I try to surround yourself with, good friends, good people.
Yeah.
That want to be there for you and listen to you. Now, I'm not saying that I did the best at that, because again, I definitely shut myself off.
Yeah.
Put myself in a little box and kind of like
Africa on it.
Yeah, just stamp
to Madagascar, right?
And like shut people out that were trying to help me, because I'm like, I don't want to hear this right now. Just like let me grieve.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely trying to deal with that was hard.
Yeah.
And definitely affected a lot of relationships. So
everyone grieves differently too, and while there's never any ill intentions, sometimes people just need that, like as appreciative as I'm sure like the food and the flowers and the letters and everything else, like there's so much positivity and love behind that. I feel like because I'm kind of the same way. I'm kind of like that numb, like I just need to deal with this, and just kind of like leave me alone. Was that pretty hard for you to kind of like, you had all these people, I know you said you lost some relationships or things got rocky, but was that pretty challenging to like, you're just getting bombarded left and right, phone blowing up? Like what kept you kind of together in that moment from just going nuts? I mean,
well, I mean, not say that I didn't go nuts.
Yeah.
Because definitely
understand. Yeah, I was gonna say definitely. I'm sure
definitely had some mental breakdowns.
Yeah, no, absolutely,
and everything like that. But yeah, it was hard. Because I knew instinctively what I was doing, like shutting people off that were trying to help me.
Yeah.
Like looking back at it now, I'm like, why did I do that? Like that's not Hayden. Like I'm all about community.
Yeah. I love
being around people. And just like shutting people off from my little world while I'm, going through this, and wanting to be alone, to deal with it. Yeah. It was challenging. It was definitely really challenging.
I'm sure, man. And like you said, there's not really a sense of normalcy that you get back to. Obviously, like a piece of that's gone. You learn to just deal with it and try to identify like when those episodes are coming up or whatever. And I think it's human nature to let those things happen to you. I think that's still part of a healing / almost memory type thing. So through this traumatic experience, losing someone like that, I can't even begin to imagine how has your perspective on life just changed? Like obviously, we don't really think about it too much until it actually happens to us, and that's anything in life, like whatever it may be, like we don't really think about it until it happens to us. So how has your perspective changed, with just how you walk every day in life, just how interactions with people, with maybe with your mom, just kind of break down some areas that you view and appreciate a lot differently?
Yeah, and like one thing I was going to add, I do always carry a piece of them, and that definitely does help.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
But is just not take life for granted.
Yeah.
I know that's an old saying that has been used so much, but not to get overly spiritual or anything, like we don't know when our time is going to come, but God does. And we just got to live life to the fullest that we can. I mean, make smart decisions, like just don't go out and party and just everything like that, just like destroy yourself. You think you're having fun, but like really enjoy life, because in an instant it can be taken away from us.
Yeah.
We don't know when the next friend or family member is going to go. So like really spending that time with them, and intentional time with them, because like I said, we just don't know. And that loss definitely taught me, like really hammered that in, like even though my dad and me were super close, and hung out 24/7 just about whenever we were together, but it made me appreciate the time that I did have as well, but like also make memories with the people that are around you.
Can you elaborate on the because I think intention is everything. I think a lot of people get stuck in this checkbox mentality. It's just like, hey, I called up so-and-so who's my best friend, and gave him 3 minutes of my time. Checkbox, we're good. Like, how important is that intent? For me, it's just like if I'm hanging out with family members or friends, like I try to be very intentional with my time. I try to be present. I try to put my phone away. Like I try to just be there. How is that? How is that for you? Like, can you break down what intentional looks like for you, and maybe every moment, every encounter, kind of how you go about that?
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes I can get into that to where like I just feel like, oh, let me go see some of my family members just to check it off that I did. But I try not to like really like focus, like you said. Like now if me and my mom sit down to eat at a restaurant, like I'm not on my phone. It is off to the side on the table. Or even if I'm with friends, like they'll be sitting there on their phones and stuff like that, but I'm just sitting there, and I'll sit there and eat and be quiet until they say something, because they see me not doing it, and it kind of sets the example. And spend intentional time like talking about life, like what's going on, or like really checking in on somebody, like I try to do with all of my friends. Like I have a large circle of people in my life that I love and care about, so sometimes I don't get to everybody as much as I should, but like if I don't talk to a certain person, like I'll just shoot them a quick text and say, hey, just want to let you know I love you, like just real quick. And that's like, that'll make the world of a difference, because it makes a world of a difference to me, because a lot of my friends do that. Like if I shut myself off and not talk, my best friend Austin, he just knows the right time to send me just like, hey bro, just want to let you know I love you. And I'm like, I really needed to hear that today.
Trying to pull out. And man, that's why like it's so important to surround yourself with those people, man, because they know how to identify your characteristics. They know when, because I used to be bad for that too, man. I used to be like, I've gotten better. I still have my moments, but people, especially people who genuinely care, and like your brothers who have your back like that, they just know to identify. They kind of know like, oh, yep, homie's in it. Like, time to lift them up, and like, it's so important to surround yourself with people who, that are intentional about you as well. It definitely goes both ways. I think it's easy to pour ourselves into people and not get anything back, and not say you like gotta go on this rampage and like screw you or whatever, but like people who genuinely
don't do that.
Don't do that. But people who want to be intentional with you, they'll make it known.
Definitely.
So that's awesome, man. I think and that's something, and maybe it's just a maturity thing too. Like the older we get, like we start losing people. Like we start seeing like, people we went to high school with, like their bodies aren't what they used to be, or there's just so many scenarios of where you're just like, dang, like we're getting older. And
I mean, hey, my 10-year high school reunion is this year, so
it's like, holy cow, time is a thief. And I think the older we get and the more experiences that we have, especially for me being married and having kids, like you really are just like, holy cow, time is insane. Like it's time, like I need to make the best of this.
definitely. Yeah, like that's one thing I'll say is make the best time that you possibly can on this earth while you have time.
So do you say, like, before losing your dad, like were you maybe not like reckless, but were you kind of just like floating in the wind with intentional time, and did people matter to you as much as they do now?
I mean, I've always been a type of person that values community.
Yeah. And that's very true. So back
but
that up.
even though like by heart I'm an introvert, like I don't like being the center of attention. But the older I've gotten, like, and especially working at a job that I'm kind of forced to talk to people all day, every day, has really made me kind of open up more and be more vocal. But like you said, yes and no to me having that intentional time with people. Yes, it amplified after he passed away, because that's when it really hit me, like, that life is short, so take advantage.
Yeah.
But also kind of like, I'm like, oh man, like I'm kind of coasting, like both my parents are alive. And I'm also fortunate enough to still have both sets of my grandparents.
Yeah.
And kind of like that. But when I was a kid, I know, like spending intentional time every weekend, I would go and stay with my grandparents on my dad's side every weekend up until I graduated high school. Every weekend I was up there. And if I wasn't, I would get a call from my grandpa being like, hey, why aren't you up here?
Where you at?
Yeah, like, where are you at, bro? But yeah, like I always still wanted to be intentional about that, but maybe not as much as now that I've learned that hard lesson.
Yeah. And unfortunately, like that again is kind of part of life, and it sometimes takes those tragic events to make us kind of value things differently. And I admire just how you carry yourself. Obviously you've had some some hardships along the way. I mean, it's anyone would. How obviously, like, it's a never ending coping thing, like you just you kind of learn to deal with it. You kind of learn to just roll with it, like we were kind of talking about. Like, you are able to identify, like, are there any like strategies or any coping mechanisms that have really just helped you? Obviously it's something that doesn't go away and there's going to be those hardships, but is there anything that at least like helps make you kind of feel a little better, or kind of remind yourself, like, the positives and the memories and everything else?
Yeah, big thing for me, of course, spending time with family and friends. That is, don't do life alone. But I'm also in the camp that you do need that alone time to sit with your thoughts and process them in a healthy way. So like, there's some days where I just, like I said here before, just like sit there, wrap myself in a blanket burrito, and just think through something. Like, I'll just sit here and stare at the ceiling and just think through things. But also, of course, music is a big thing. I love music. And I know like disc golf, I haven't had much time to play anymore, but even like sitting there and watch a tournament on TV, or watch like YouTube channels. Like, my favorite disc golf YouTube channel is Foundation Disc Golf. Like, those guys are they're uplifting as well. They're funny and might not be the best at disc golf, but it's entertainment. Or just playing video games with friends, and trying to like go out. Like, I used to have a group of friends now, and of course with work and stuff like that, we can't get much together, but like we'll go to Buffalo Wild Wings and watch UFC
Nice.
whenever there's a big fight. So like really just trying to do everything I can to distract myself, but there's also points where I want to do things that me and him did together.
Yeah.
Like I think the day after he passed away, I went to Lowe's because he loved going to Lowe's.
Yeah.
Ate at one of our favorite spots by myself and just jammed 80s hair metal.
Yeah.
So on the way there,
That's how you know he was an amazing dad. 80s hair metal. Let's go.
yeah, Guns N' Roses, Motley
Yeah.
Crue,
That's awesome.
everything under the sun in that genre. And like I don't know, like, and it brought me peace because like trying to do something that was familiar in your new normal.
Yeah.
It was hard, but
Oh, I'm sure.
like just walking through Lowe's by myself looking like the crap is that guy doing just walking through here by himself?
Not even buying anything. He's just walking around.
Yeah, like not even buy anything, just got his AirPods in and just walking around.
You're just sitting there like at a restaurant, not even ordering. You're just kind of just bobbing your head.
Oh no, I definitely would eat at a restaurant. Like I'm definitely gonna eat, but just like sitting there and
Yeah.
like I said, thinking through everything.
Did so like did you encounter like any unexpected moments of like clarity or breakthrough while dealing with like that coping or grief or anything?
Not to my knowledge, to be completely honest, because I'm still processing that. Like
Yeah.
4 years later,
Yeah.
still trying to learn everything. And even like begging, like I know there's a lesson in this, but I need it.
Yeah.
Like I need that revealed to me. Like, what am I supposed to get out of this?
Yeah.
And it could be right in front of me, and I'm just blind and not seeing it
Yeah.
because I'm dealing with this still, and you know, having hard times at work and being stressed out all the time. Can make me blind to it because I'm dealing with that as well.
Yeah.
So like I don't think I know I've learned something, but to pinpoint it, I
Yeah.
really can't say.
I mean, I think just learn. I mean, obviously, like, you know, through different seasons, you know, as as time goes by, like, you know, and once you have a family, like, you're gonna always be learning like new elements or being able to like have a new perspective on this, you know. But I mean, I definitely think like an important one is to just be like just value of time, you know, and to just really just like that intentional thing. Like I can't reiterate how important that is, you know, especially like in the day and age of, you know, conveniency is at our fingertips at all points of the day, you know, like on our phone, like no matter where we go, you know, it's just, we're just kind of forced into this Speedy Gonzalez lifestyle. And, you know, it's just like you wake up, boom, checking socials, blah, blah, blah. Oh, gotta, you know, time for work, you know, checking your phone while at work, you know. And I say phone just because I really feel like phones, you know, they can cause a lot of damage. You know, they're awesome, but I find myself on it way too much. I've definitely found myself in moments either with my kids or whatever. And, you know, it's important. So I think you just being able to really, you know, take life for what it is and cherish and value, you know, the Buffalo Wild Wings nights, you know, the time with your mom, and, you know, that stuff's important. So if you are listening, just know, like, don't take time for granted. You know, really cherish, you know, when your family comes into town, when, you know, your daughter's on your lap, whatever it may be, you know, because things can happen like that, unfortunately.
And hey, don't be scared to go to a concert by yourself and just enjoy yourself.
Did you do that?
Oh, I've done that many
done that?
times.
Yeah. I mean,
if there's a band that I want to go see, and I'm like, I really like, if
am I
my
gonna
friends want
miss
to go,
this? Like...
but like I'm not gonna miss it if they don't want to go. Like I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
And like one of those bands for me is Ice Nine Kills. Like
Yeah.
I've gone to many shows by myself, like to see Ice Nine Kills. Like I want to go see Bad Omens
Yeah.
by myself. And the one that I did go to where I thought I was by myself when The Devil Wears Prada came in, but didn't realize that some mutual friends of ours, like Noah, his brother Tyler, and our friend Aaron were there. And I just get a tap on my shoulder,
funny,
like,
dude.
"What's up, Hayden? Like, why didn't you tell us you were here?"
That's hilarious. Like, well, I did. You guys just didn't reply.
No, like I literally didn't say anything because I was like, you know what? Like, I'll be fine if I just go to this by myself. But I kind of had a feeling because of who was playing at that show. Like, Fit for a King's on the lineup. At least two people in my friend group are going to be there.
I'll see them. Almost guaranteed, right?
Yeah. And they were like, why didn't you tell us you were coming? And I was like, I really don't know. It was kind of like a spur of the moment thing, honestly.
I knew you'd be here. That's why.
Yeah, instinctively, I knew you would be here.
That's awesome, man. Gosh, those were the days. We'll definitely, we'll jump into some more music stuff at the end because I definitely want to like just kind of talk about reroute to like some worshiper times and everything else. So we'll definitely finish up with that. That was kind of my intentions. But to kind of go back, you know, onto the loss of your dad and like the grief. What advice do you have? Again, obviously, like it's something that, you know, it's a new, call it normal if you want. Any advice to anyone who's, you know, has lost somebody or, you know, is still trying to kind of navigate through that as well?
Yeah. The main thing that I say is, you know, don't do life alone, but also do some parts alone. Because you need that to really like think through like your feelings and get them out. That's a big thing. Like if you don't want to break down in front of somebody, like that's my biggest thing is I don't want to break down in front of somebody. So if you need to lock yourself in the room and just sit there in quiet or have some music on and just cry, scream, punch the wall, don't hurt yourself.
Pull a Kyle.
But yeah, just pow. Whatever you need to do it, because I mean, if anybody doesn't care about your feelings, I do, because I know what you're going through. And just do things that remind you of the person that you lost, if that helps. And just trying to find ways to distract yourself, because like it's not really going to get any easier, like we've been saying, but you're going to find ways to cope with it. So I guess it will get easier, I guess, but that saying to me is crazy because it's not going to be, but you're going to find ways to face the reality of your new normal.
Yeah.
And like go about your life.
And just dealing with it day to day. Have you found yourself, do you feel like that's something that, because I feel like when we go through, for me, this whole, you know, vodcast is just because of the things that I've been through in life. And I just hope to motivate people. Because again, like statistically, I should be dead or in jail. You know, I should be sitting here. You know, I've faced a lot of adversity, a lot of trauma, a lot of abuse, you know, and I shouldn't be who I am today. And I'm beyond thankful for that. But so that's what I'm passionate about, is to inspire people. Do you find yourself kind of the same way? You know, through obviously like overcoming and, you know, or at least like taking huge steps forward with mental health, and then I'm learning to grieve and cope. Is that something that you're passionate and you're really trying to kind of pour into people and kind of be a support system for them?
100%, because I'm kind of in the same boat. Like I shouldn't be here because like I've been at like really low points, but found myself pulling myself out of that before, you know, I take that step.
Yeah.
Like trying to talk myself out of that. And yeah, like I do pride myself on helping my friends and anybody that I come around that is struggling with mental health is to like seek help. Like if nobody cares about you, let me care about you.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's the truest statement. Yeah, dude. Like I said from the beginning, man. Then, that's just you as a person, man. You have a heart to serve people, and just through your journey and your experiences and hardships, man. Like I back that 1,000%. Like I know if you had like 1,000 people in front of you, you would be like, yo, I'm giving every one of you a hug. Here's what's up. Like,
yeah, I am like, we're gonna form a single file line. I'm gonna give you a nice intentional hug
hilarious.
And tell you that I love you because I do.
And if there's time in the day, we're doing it twice. Like,
yeah, if there's time, we're gonna do it again.
That's so funny, dude. Man, that's incredible. Have you found yourself? I know you serve in church, and I think that's amazing. Have you found yourself like even within that, or any other areas that you're trying to kind of build up, a group or finding mutual friends or whatever who are kind of dealing with the same thing?
I mean, and like to brag, like I'm not gonna say not to brag,
not brag, dude. Brag, bro.
Like on the church that I go to,
it's amazing, dude.
Like it's all about community there.
Yeah,
like it really is. Like it's very life-giving, and everybody is close. Like we have groups that do different things. I mean, like we have a group that goes out and play disc golf.
Yeah,
and I know some of my friends are doing that. A group about that new Disney card game. I can't think of the name of it, but they're all Disney fanatics, so knowing they would get into that was a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yep, I know what's up.
Yeah, or I mean, even groups just like really digging into parts of the Bible, or a book or something like that. But there's also like very laid back and relaxed groups that we can just really spend some time together, and of course, time with Jesus and everything like that. But yeah, like serving at church has definitely helped me because I'm around those people.
Yeah.
Not just every Sunday, but in our normal lives.
Yeah.
Like we reach out to each other during the week. And like even if we don't, like my leader is definitely gonna call me like, where you been, man?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Or if like I'm not scheduled or something like that, he's calling me like, hey man, like I'm not gonna waste a lot of your time. I just want to let you know I love you. I'm thinking about you. If you need anything, need any prayer, just let me know.
That's amazing. And like all this is kind of like, kind of under one umbrella, and all these things, like the intention, the surrounding yourself with good people, and that's helped me tremendously, in my mental health journey, and just kind of bettering myself, man, is obviously my faith. And then, again, just like the people I surround myself with, man, it's so important. I can't stress that enough, to surround yourself with healthy people, for people who have the best intentions, who have your back, and who are really there, and again, when they kind of pull that out of you, and you start taking those steps, and it's just like you look back like 6 months ago, and it was like, holy cow, now I talk about this, and now I can talk about this even more, and like I'm able to hop on this thing and talk about grief, and so it's definitely a part of the mental health journey, the healing process, and everything. That's amazing, dude. I'm really proud of your journey, man. I'm proud of just through everything that you fit. Yo, what's up, puppers? Let's go.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna do that.
Nah, I ain't mad. Let's go. Puppy for the viewers.
He loves attention. He's an attention hog. He's my boy Stark is a tribe breed bulldog, and I think looks big and aggressive, but he is the sweetest dog.
He's a big baby. Dude. They always are, man.
Like it's insane just how much of a baby he actually is.
That's awesome, dude.
And so like I knew with me talking and stuff like that, he's gonna want to be up on me.
What's going on?
And stuff like that. I'm like, bro, you too big right now. You'll hog up the screen.
Yes. Let's let him talk now, and you just go on.
Yeah, that's fine. He'll just sit there and stare.
Yeah, that's funny, dude. That's hilarious. Is there any other like things with like mental health that you want to share, or maybe any maybe challenges that we haven't talked about that you've kind of faced, or anything that maybe could give some advice on, or like I said, we've covered a lot and we're not done, but I'm just kind of recapping a little bit.
Yeah, definitely like right now with my job situation. I worked for Verizon for 5 years, and always working in sales and customer service is a stressful job. And just being thrown around different places, like I'm thankful that they rely on me to do that. I really am, because they can throw me into any situation and I can just pick it up and go. They don't have to train me or anything like that, because I was in a day's notice on a plane to Manahawkin, New Jersey last year. So like,
what was that, like a training thing or what? Like
no. So because I work for an authorized retailer, and we set up these kiosks at Costco's to sell up there. And that was just one of the locations that they needed help opening. I just like one day I got a call from my district manager and said, "Hey, so I'm going to need you at the airport tomorrow."
Let's go.
I don't think it was a 24-hour notice. It was 48 hours, but still, drop of the hat. Like, hey, I'm going to need you to book a flight to go out on this date to Manahawkin, New Jersey. And I'm like, okay, I've never been on a plane before. So like,
all right, let's go.
Let's send it. So like having to book my hotel room, which I've done plenty of times, rent a car, but definitely booking the flight was an experience.
That's crazy, dude.
I wanted to make sure that like I got it, and making sure all my connecting flights, which I only had one really, to Philadelphia, and then took a bus to Atlantic City, and then picked up my rental car to go to Manahawkin. So
that's nuts. That's awesome that you have a job that's helped you kind of break open your shell, essentially.
But it's also, like I said, stressful, because not necessarily like, I wouldn't say I hate my job, but it's definitely stressful.
Oh yeah.
And
especially sales,
very like, it's very go.
Yeah.
And with it being, I've been there 5 years, so a lot of it is kind of boring to me sometimes.
Yeah.
Because like right now we're kind of in a slow season, and the store that I'm at is a little bit slower than I'm used to. So just that's really what I'm going through right now, is a lot of stress, not really depression.
Yeah.
And I'm anxious about the future, because a lot of people are losing their jobs around me. So
wow.
Yeah.
That is stressful, man. Everything happens for a reason. What about
it does.
I mean, so how has mental health been for you though? Like do you feel like you have it maybe under wraps better than you have before, or like do you feel like, kind of where are you at right now?
I wouldn't say under wraps, but I did take myself off of medicine because after a while I hated the way that it made me feel. It just made me feel mellow.
Yeah.
And like I told my doctor, I was like, I don't want to be depressed, but I also want to feel my feelings.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, or I don't want to be, overly anxious to where like I'm just sending myself into a full-blown panic attack.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I still have, and I just have to deal with it, but because I don't want to be in that stage anymore where I'm just mellow.
Yeah.
I mean, I learned a lot on how to deal with it while I was on medication, and I'm not, condoning or condemning is the right word I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
getting on medication for it because it does help.
Yeah.
It really does. But like I said, it just didn't, like after a while, it didn't work for me anymore.
Yeah. And that's understandable. I think, you know, again, like I'm not knocking if you're on it, like, you know, everyone's at different periods in their life. And if that's what helps, then, you know, that's okay. To each their own. And that's, you know, that's all good. I definitely think, you know, for me, and maybe it's just because like I haven't been on that side of it. I've done a lot of self-healing. And I think for me, just getting to the root again, like I've had to own everything that I've been through. I've had to be okay with, you know, neglect and abuse and all these different things. I've had to come to terms with that and realize like, hey, like it's done. Like there's nothing you can do about it. The only thing that you can do is close, you know, what's been done, go back to the root of everything and kind of chop it off. And, you know, it's still in there, but at the same time, it's time to like regrow. It's trying, you know what I mean? And so that's helped me tremendously. And I think that's why I've had a lot of success on my end with my self-healing journey and again, like some people, you know, they're just not in the best state, or they're not really sure how to navigate through that. For me, I think just at a young age, because I had to learn, you know, like how to fight and how to, you know, keep going by myself. Essentially, I grew up really young, so I think that's kind of what helped me. Is I'm pretty relentless. If I set my mind to something, I'm gonna do it. And especially like when and I think a lot like probably stemmed from too like meeting my wife and then having kids, and I had to come to this realization of like, yo, now more than ever, if you don't go back and close off everything that you now have in your home and with your family, like it's gonna start leaking in. You know, it's gonna start just kind of consuming everything. And for me, it was definitely just going to the root and identifying like, here's why I act like this. Here's why, you know, like in these situations I do this, you know, and doing that for me helped tremendously. And it wasn't easy. You know, there's certain, you know, again, abuse and traumas and things that, you know, it's very hard to face. And, you know, once I kind of did that, still have those days, still have those dark moments, and, you know, not clear understanding, but I've had closure with it, you know, and I own it. And so that's again, if you're taking medication, that's okay. You know, if you're going to therapy, that's great. You know, there's resources for a reason. But at the same time, that's my advice. If you're trying to kind of take that next step on your own to kind of, like Hayden said, not feel mellow or somewhat controlled by, you know, by these things, you know, definitely, you know, if you're in a good, healthy position, kind of start revisiting certain things that maybe you've been through, and just realizing like, just because you've been through that doesn't mean that's who you are anymore, or that doesn't have to define you. So kind of cut that off and take steps forward. That's kind of my take to throw in everything you've shared tonight.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I know you're relentless, and that's one of the things I love and respect about you. Like, if you have an idea, you're just full send. Like, you're gonna do it.
I've had to tame it, dude, because I've realized I don't know if it's just from, I don't know, like some people are like hobbyists, and some people it's just like if they somewhat accomplish something, they move on to something else. And I've had to, and I think I just have this characteristic of like, yo, I think I can do that. Yo, I think I could do that. And so I've definitely had to, I've had to chill out, like the insane nights, the no sleeping, I got $1 billion idea thing, you know, and it still happens, and I use it when I can. But yeah, I've had to take that relentless and like try to put it in other avenues that will at least guarantee me or be positive use of that energy and time. That's funny.
It's like I just pop on Instagram at some point. It's like, oh, well, Wesley's gotten himself into something else.
Yeah, well, what
like, let's go.
On, dude? Yeah, dude. And you know, if it, and I think a lot of it's just been finding myself too. Again, I never had guidance. You know, I never had, didn't have a healthy upbringing. I've said that a million times, but I just didn't have any proper guidance. You know, support, everything. So I think I'm honing in on it now. I've kind of found my purpose. And it's taken time, obviously, but I've definitely had my stint of jobs. I've definitely, you know, I've been involved with things, and sometimes, you know, it lasted a couple days, and sometimes it's lasted years, you know, and that's just been kind of part of my journey, is kind of learning. And again, like I just saw those behaviors growing up too. I just kind of saw like the kind of flaky behaviors from, you know, unhealthy people I was around or whatever. So I think I picked that up, and that's something that I've had to try to chill out and, again, like kind of tame that relentless, ambitious side of me.
Definitely. I mean, that's how you grow. Like you said, like failure, like it sucks at something, but it's how you grow. Like move on to the next thing. And like you said, it might last 2 days or it might last 20 years, whatever you get yourself into. But just be okay with that, because you're going to grow in it.
That's exactly right. But luckily, I can't, I'm a dad, so I can't like not ever be a dad again. So that's a plus. And I anticipate being married to my wife forever. So if anything, through all these ventures and everything else, if anything,
okay, everything but family. Like,
oh yeah, 1,000%, bro.
You got 3 beautiful children and a wonderful wife, so stick with that, please, Wes.
No, oh, dude, 1,000%, man. And that's where like that's where a lot of this tameness has had. Like, I've had to like reel myself in and realize like, hey, there's a lot more at stake, but also too like there's areas that need my attention more than like these ideas that, you know, are they productive? Are they impactful? Or are they just like, you know what I mean? So I've definitely had to like get priorities set in stone, you know? But again, like, and the cool part too is whenever you pour into your family, like you get that back too. So me doing this, like when I'm present and like properly spending my time, you know, my wife is like, yes, versus if I'm not doing anything, it's just like, yo, I'm going to go disappear now. Like it's the reaction to that's definitely a lot different. So yeah, taking care of everything on the front line, you know, definitely opens up, you know, impactful opportunities like this. But this is also something I'm passionate about. And again, kind of like, you know, you sharing your story, and hopefully, you know, now like all the negative things, like the positive thing, like you're going to reach a lot of people, and you're going to be able to be someone positive for a lot of people who, you know, are going through that same process that you've been through and that you're still living out. So I think we all, you know, go through certain things for a reason, and you are prepared, you know, and through the events to be able to carry yourself in a way to where you can impact people through, you know, everything that you've been through.
Definitely. Yeah.
So yeah, dude, like I said, we're just gonna slowly start winding this thing down. It's already been like an hour and a half, dude. It's crazy.
I know, it feels like it hadn't been
I know,
that
dude,
long.
We ever hit catching up and everything else. And to kind of circle back around, so I know you said the job's kind of a up and down thing, like where you're at in life, you know, and through everything that you've kind of been through, and what are your goals? Like, where are you hoping, you know, like what are you hoping your life becomes as far as like, you know, family, work, whatever, like what, you know, what's kind of your plan? What do you hope to kind of knock out?
I mean, in all honesty, just to be happy. That's like the broad spectrum of it. Like wanting to start a family, get married, either, you know, find peace and happiness at the current job that I'm at, or, you know, find something else that makes me happy. Just overall, like I just want to be the best version of Hayden, whatever that looks like. And of course, like I said, it's my goal to be a dad.
Dude,
like,
you're gonna kill it, man.
Like just seeing all my friends become parents and everything like that, and like even like my nephew Rhett he's teaching me a lot. Like, cause he's, you know, a rambunctious 6-year-old.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But also with all my friends having young kids, learning a lot and asking questions.
Yeah.
Like, hey, like, what does this look like? You know, and even though that I can't relate, like, I want to know, like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, if you're struggling with parenting, like, talk to me. I can't relate, but
Yeah.
like, because I want to know that. And like I tell my friend, he was just like, I was like, man, like what's going on? Like, how's parenting life? That's all I asked. I was like, how's parenting life? And like he'll do deep dive, like, oh man, like she is doing great, or like, we're not having the best week, whether it's sleeping or being sick,
Yeah.
or something like that. And I'm like, I mean, if you don't mind, like unpack that for me,
Yeah.
because like that's a goal that I have in life, is obviously to get married first and then start a family.
Yeah.
And definitely learned a lot on how to be a good parent from my dad and of course my mom.
That's awesome.
So I can't wait to be that and like be another version of my dad to my child.
Yeah. And
like
man, that's
have that special connection.
Dude, that hits deep, man, because you know, it's like we can have a perspective when we don't have kids, but it's like when you do, man, like what you just said, it hits so different. There's actually a song that I've been listening to. It's called The Man That You See in Me. And it just talks about like, I hope you become everything of what you see in me, you know, and that's the amazing thing about kids, dude. And I'm sure the same thing, you know, that you still think about your dad, you know, is just how, you know, just incredible, man. And kids are so, especially when they're younger, and I mean always, really, just that unconditional love, man. Like you're, especially like good healthy parents who you know had a posture about them and carried themselves in a certain way and loved you, like they're superstars, man, and that doesn't go away, dude. So that's
oh yeah, my parents are definitely superstars.
That's what I'm saying, dude. And I know, like, just knowing you personally, like, I know you're going to be an amazing dad when that time comes, you know, and you're already preparing for it, living vicariously through, you know, your friends and asking these questions. Like, you're hungry for it, you know, and I know you're going to kill it, bro. And again, just having role models like you've had in life, you know, growing up in that, dude, that's going to be awesome, man. I'm excited for when that day comes for you, for sure.
Not saying that, you know, I don't care what gender it is, but I know I'll be a great girl dad. I'm looking forward to that.
Dude, girls are so fun,
like,
man.
I'm doing, you know, dances, cheerleading, all that stuff.
Oh,
like,
heck yeah, dude.
Hair and everything like that. Like, tea parties, Barbies, because I did it with my cousin. Like, there's pictures of me and my cousin Haley where I'm sitting there playing Barbies with her, like, and just having a great time. Like, I know I'm gonna crush it as a girl dad.
Yeah, dude, that's all.
I mean, I'm gonna crush it as a boy dad, of course, because I mean, I'm a dude, so
yeah,
like, I get it, but definitely,
dude,
definitely be a great
fun,
girl
man.
dad.
Girls are fun, man. Having a daughter, you know, obviously having sons is amazing, but having a daughter, it's different, man. It really is different. It's hard to explain, but man, it just she melts my heart, dude, in a way that I never knew was possible. And that's the other thing of like having kids, dude, is like you think your journey and how hungry you are to kind of squash this, you know, mental health thing, and like you wait till you have kids, dude. Like they heal so much, but then they grow you so much, man. Like it's the most amazing thing that's ever happened to me, man. It has helped me find closure in areas that I don't know I would have maybe closed them properly if it wasn't, you know, through my kids and just seeing and feeling that love, dude. So they definitely, aside from, you know, having a great wife, having kids definitely like slam that door, dude, and deadbolted it like Fort Knox.
That's what you need to do, though.
Yeah, dude. No, I mean, it's definitely worth it, man. Absolutely. So that's exciting, dude. You know, just being, and I think that's, you know, everyone has different, you know, aspirations in life, and that's great. Again, like I'm a simple guy. You're a simple guy. I just want to be happy. Just want to, you know, enjoy community, enjoy friends, family, and, you know, because at the end of the day, like for me, you know, it really is about legacy. You know, it's what I'm able to kind of break this generational curse for me and everything that I grew up in, but also too, like I get to rewrite that, you know, and I get to love my kids in a way that I never experienced, and, you know, probably my parents never did, you know, and to just leave them with every part of me, like, hey, you know, like my dad, you know, grandpa walked walked with honor, walked with humility, respectful, like his legacy. Like that's just what I want, man.
Definitely.
Trying, man, trying.
You're doing great, man.
Thanks,
You're doing
dude.
great.
I appreciate it, man. It's been a journey, but I wouldn't have it any other way, dude.
That's good.
So as we wind this thing down, dude, what are so like I said, thank you guys, everyone who's kind of tuned in. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully you guys were inspired by this, and if you're listening as this comes out on YouTube, I hope you were motivated. I hope you know that you're not alone in whatever you're going through, and I hope you know that you're not alone in grief. So everything that you're going through is okay. Just know people have your back. People want to be there for you. People really do care about you. So get out of your own head and just seek that community and just be vulnerable with the people around you. And I promise you'll see the results. But anything else before we kind of dive off to the last part that I'm excited to kind of go into?
No, I'm super excited to be talking about this, what we're going to be talking about, because it's a big passion of mine. But like Wes said, I said it before, if you think nobody cares about you, just know that I do, and I know Wes does. So, yeah, like you got this. You definitely got this. Whatever you're going through, you got it.
That's awesome.
Like, I'm glad you're still alive. If you need to hear that, I'm glad you're still alive. So
hit him up. Insties. With that being said, dude, favorite worshiper memory, go.
Oh man, there's so many.
I'm sure you missed the show, but I don't think you missed many shows.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've missed some shows.
You're
definitely.
probably there 95% of the
probably
pretty close.
Honestly. I know whenever y'all did that little mini tour, I didn't go to a lot of them. I think I only went to the Charlotte one because that's where I live. Like I still remember my first ever worshiper show at a little venue in Greensboro.
So for those of you, really quick, I was, if you haven't caught on, I was in a Christian metalcore band years ago. That's how we met. And like I said, Hayden was like the president of whatever it was in the band. If he wanted to be it, he could have been it. So anyway, a little backstory, but I just wanted to throw that out there. But anyway.
Definitely. But I think like one thing that sticks out is when y'all opened for Convictions and War of Ages in Fayetteville.
Oh my God.
That I had to drive all the way up to Winston.
Was that Fayette or was that South Carolina?
That was
Fayetteville. It was
Fayetteville.
Convictions and Phineas, I thought. Was it War of
the
Ages?
Yeah, it was War of Ages
Maybe it was.
at
Maybe it was
is
all
that
three,
drunk
I don't know.
horse.
Anyway, you probably remember better than I do, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
because
a
you
little
got the
bit.
video of me, so yeah, I think it was Phineas and War of Ages. I think that's what it was, because I remember.
Because whenever you did that Conviction songs, I can't think of it now.
The Void Remains,
I don't know why. Yeah, Void Remains. I think I filmed that video.
Yeah. Oh, you totally did.
So, like having to go all the way up to Winston to meet, or no, it was Chris, because Chris Mersch, who was on last week, I rode up with him to meet you, Nate, and Josh, and then we all hiked it over to Fayetteville for this show.
Oh my God,
and I just remember because I had to be at work the next morning. I didn't even was in the venue whenever War of Ages was on, which I was kind of bummed.
Yeah.
But like I just went to your car and passed out.
You remember that? Because you rode back with me, didn't you?
Yes, but
okay.
And we stopped.
Because we stopped and we hung out with Earth Groans and
Mike and all them.
Yeah, at Cookout. That's right.
I'm sitting there like,
about that, dude.
It's already 2 a.m. I gotta be at work at 6.
I forgot about that, bro.
Like
well, the next day I went to the South Carolina show.
Yeah, because I literally got home changed into my work clothes and just passed out on my couch for like 45 minutes and then went to work because I don't think me and Chris didn't get home. It was like 4 a.m. when we got home.
Holy cow, dude.
Because, of course, me and Chris live near each other.
Yeah.
So, kind of in the same area.
I thought you rode with, maybe you just slept in my car. Or maybe you rode with him from, I don't remember. I thought you rode.
I rode with him from Charlotte to
like
Winston.
I said, I got dad brain, bro. So you probably know this better than me.
And I don't know why, like, I remember this, but I do. And then me, you, and Nate rode to Fayetteville. And Josh and Chris rode together. And then I rode back from Winston back to Charlotte with Chris. Because, like I said, we were in the same area, so I just rode with him. I was like, I can drive to Winston by myself. But Chris was like, hey, like, we can carpool. I was like, all right.
All right, then.
Like, let's do it. But yeah, that was a core memory. But that was also a good show. That was the first time I met Mike in person too. Like, we like talked on Facebook and stuff like that. But you know, getting to meet him in person was awesome, and seeing them live. I think that was the first time I've seen them live.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know there's countless memories and sharing the mic with you guys on some parts while I'm sitting there taking pictures.
That's so fun. Filling in
like,
for
hey,
the forgotten lyrics.
The photographer can also scream. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, dude. Full time. God, those are fun. I definitely, yeah, like I said, you're always there with the freaking camera, man. Like, definitely remember the sweat show. I remember I think it was actually on our big tour, that one of our big tours we did, and it was at the Milestone. I remember you being there for that one too, specifically.
Yeah, I think that was when y'all did it. I think you were 1430, I think, was coming out.
Yeah, we had recorded it and we played it, but I don't think it was out yet.
I know Persistence was, because the EP was already out.
Yeah.
And then you dropped Persistence, and I think because you played 1430 at that show, and then it released a couple days later.
Yeah, that's right. Dang, dude, you got the memory, bro.
I mean, hey, I still bump the songs that are still on Apple Music, which is Persistence and 1430. I still bump those from time to time.
I think our PayPal like switched, and I think that's why they got taken off. We just never.
Which sucks, because Blood-Filled Lungs is my jam.
You can always go and listen to it on Bandcamp for free, just so you know. Which I know isn't as convenient, but I don't know.
If I really want to listen to it, I definitely go on.
You probably got the file, bro. You probably got the legit mix.
I probably do somewhere on my hard drive.
That's funny. Were there any other crazy memories? I've definitely had a lot. Like any other moments or memories, or like getting food, like I said, or anything.
Yeah, that was the biggest one, because I think on the way there we stopped at some random Kmart and got Little Caesars on the way there.
How do you remember this? I forgot about that, dude.
Because it was just that crazy of a trip.
Was that in Winston?
I think we're a little bit outside of Winston.
Was it? I think because there was one in Clemens. I can't remember if we stopped at.
Because I remember thinking, like, dang, Kmart is still a thing.
I think it was in Clemens and right outside of Winston, because they had the Kmart in the Little Caesars, and we got like 1,000 crazy breads, and like, dude, and it was legit. It was really good. That's so funny, dude. God, you're a legend.
Yeah, I like I said, I don't know why I remember that. I guess because it was just a big trip. Yeah. You know, it was fun.
It was definitely like 3 hours of drive time for sure there.
Yeah, because I did that drive again with Noah's old band.
Yeah.
And played at the venue across the street. And so like I kind of knew where I was going because I was like, oh, I've already been through here with the worshiper.
Yeah.
So,
did you ever ride in the van with us or anything? I can't remember.
No, I didn't ride in the van.
The silly van.
Because I know, if I remember correctly, we talked about me coming on that tour.
Yeah.
But I couldn't because of work. But I knew I was going to be at the Charlotte show.
Yeah. I remember the sweat show because we walked up to Harris Teeter. I can't remember why. Because I just remember driving the van in the U-Haul because no one else could drive it. And then I remember me and you walking up to the Harris Teeter, I think to use the bathroom or something.
It was something like that,
or to get
grab,
a drink or so. Yeah, I can't remember. That's funny.
It was something random that we went up there for, but like that was my first show that I've seen of the worshiper. Like me and Wes have been talking, and
maybe, I think maybe that's like we just kind of took off and chatted and hung out. I think. And
so because I was in school in Raleigh at the time. I don't think I was there that long, and then I made the trip to Greensboro because I'm like, I'm gonna go check out this dude's West band.
Oh,
live.
Oh yeah,
that was also somewhere.
Silent Planet.
Yeah, somewhere
show.
else. Yeah, no, it was a small show because I don't remember the bands that played before. or after
I'm talking about the Raleigh show, the local 506 show with Dayseeker.
Oh yes,
yeah, because we were on
that one. I forgot about that show.
And Ghost Key.
Yeah,
it was
Ghost
like before
Key.
Dayseeker was huge. And even
remember,
Silent Planet had started like getting some traction, and Dayseeker was like, they were still signed with In Vogue. That's how early Dayseeker was.
I remember looking at my friend when Dayseeker came up. Like we were just like, we've never heard of them. And
insane.
And we were so impressed. Like this little dude can just rip some nasty vocals.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forgot about that show. That was local 506 in Chapel Hill that y'all opened for Silent Planet. That was. And my memory's not as good.
That was like one of the first times that we had like our short stint of a full lineup too. And that was probably one of we sounded really good that show.
Yeah, because I don't think Chris was in the band yet.
It was Pat and Dylan was on guitar.
Yep, that's right.
We were a 5-piece. I forgot we had to take Dylan to the hospital after that show for some reason. I think he I don't know, I thought he was having a heart attack or something crazy. So I definitely.
I think I remember something about that you had to go to the hospital.
Totally get home at like 5 a.m. or something crazy. That's hilarious. Well, good times, brother. Well, listen, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up, and get some Z's here shortly. Got a big day tomorrow. Well, listen, dude, thank you so much for hopping in, man. Thank you so much for sharing everything that you've been going through in life, and obviously some of the hardest points that you have been through in life. I think it takes a lot to be able to do that. It takes a lot to be able to get on here and be live and on the spot kind of come up with things. So thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your experiences. And again, so sorry for the loss of your dad, but I'm super proud of how you're carrying yourself through that. And I'm glad that you and your mom have been able to grow closer through that, and that you're cherishing every part of life a little more now. So with that being said, man, do you have anything else for the viewers, man? Again, I can't thank you enough for being on and sharing your story.
This again, glad you're here. I love you, and you got this. Those are definitely my closing remarks. But again, Wes, I can't be more excited for this journey that you're on with this podcast. I know it's going to help people, and I love you. You know that.
Daddy, love you too, man.
Can't thank you enough for letting me come on here and share my experience. And it was fun. Had a great time.
Absolutely. So as you listen back through this, or you have been listening, Hayden's an open book. So if you guys want to reach out to him, Instagram name is
Who is Hey Breezy.
Yeah, and if you can't find him on there, he is in the Discord. So make sure you hop in the Discord. Hit me up on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. If you would like to reach out to Hayden and you can't find him, or if you guys do need someone to talk to, please hit me up. But again, guys, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. And if this did help you in any sort of way, I'd love to hear that. And if there's anything you guys need, let me know. But until next time, guys, have a great night.